I started 6 years ago to intensively work with lasers, and this is what I mainly do if I do audiovisual pieces. I like that people experience something that is outside their normal experience. Deep Web is by far the biggest project we ever did. It has been shown in Berlin at Kraftwerk, which is a former old power plant, a very huge space. It is a grid of 175 small plastic balls, and there's 12 lasers shoot laser beams on these moving balls. We can create three-dimensional shapes. People are mostly completely blown away because they definitely haven't seen something like this before. I come from a family of engineers, and when I was very young, I discovered electronic music. I became part of the electronic underground in Berlin in the early 1990s. At some point, I decided that I'd like to express myself not only via sound, but also visually. This was indeed the first laser installation which became public. So it's only white laser light, which I found very beautiful. The sound creates an atmosphere which allows people to experience the visual side. This piece most of the time is very dark, and sometimes it explodes into a lot of brightness. So it was basically of the topic of lightness and darkness. Here in Beijing, you have these buildings with LEDs on them and architectural lighting which moves. Most light art you see in public spaces is very much flickering. And what I do is the opposite. I try to do things which are changing slow. This work is a classical example of a happy accident. Lasers are dangerous. I needed to make sure that a laser beam from a laser couldn't hit my eye. I was looking for things in my studio, and I found this piece of black plexiglass. I shoot the laser beam at the plexiglass, and what happened is that it started to melt. But what I also noticed is that I got amazing reflections on the other wall, like the surface of a lake if there's wind. This is the core of the piece. The longer the piece runs, the more destruction we have. So it gets more and more beautiful because of the destruction. I come from Bavaria, which is in the south of Germany, near the mountains, and a village called Fall, which actually means waterfall. This village had to be removed because they built a big dam for electricity, and it's flooded with water. And there's a lot of those actually also in China. But sometimes there's very low water, and suddenly these ruins come up and you see the ruins of the old buildings. And I found it very interesting as a graphical thing. What I did with Fall is, in the middle of a large room, I have a grid of fabric which represent the walls. It's kind of taking the village and turn it upside down. It's a ruin suspended from the ceiling. And I use 2 lasers to project on this ruin. There's a lot of things which have associations of rain. The lasers are basically the water surface, and the ruin is above. You are below the village.